Passengers on board a LATAM Airlines flight from Sydney to Auckland say they feared for their lives when the plane suddenly dropped. Roughly 2 hours into yesterday's flight, the airline says the aircraft experienced a technical event. Some described seeing people hitting the roof. 50 people were injured, while 13 were taken to hospital after landing in Auckland. Richard de Crespigny is a former pilot who famously landed a Qantas A380 in 2010 after it suffered a catastrophic engine failure. Richard is very pleased to say it's with me in the studio. Thanks so much for coming in. So this plane quickly lost altitude, Richard. With your experience as a pilot, what do you think happened?
Well, some passengers hit the ceiling, so the airplane was going down faster than free fall or faster than gravity. So that suggests that there was a flight control input to make the aircraft do that, which is unusual. Now, it should always be said that if the passengers just did what everyone in Australia does, which is to put a seatbelt on when they're in a car, if they had a seatbelt on, then that seat is strong. The aeroplane is stronger than the passengers. If you strap yourself, just have your seatbelt lightly on your lap, you would have been fine. There would have been no injuries. But it doesn't stop the fact that something went wrong in that flight. There are a lot of hypotheses, a lot of options. Some, maybe they hit turbulence, unlikely that severe. Maybe they flew into a thunderstorm. It was daylight, maybe, and they were getting ready to land, so that's unlikely. Maybe they had a total power failure. Possible, but it shouldn't happen because all the systems should have different power supplies. Hydraulics, perhaps, flight controls, so many options. And it's not until we get more news from LATAM, we get more information from the flight data recorders that we'll know.
So the airline says it was caused by a technical problem, and the pilot reportedly said that he lost instrumentation briefly, that it just came back on all of a sudden. Would that have resulted in the plane losing altitude for so long? It went on for quite some time, reportedly.
Now, evidently, the pilot said he lost the screens. Did he lose all the screens? Now, if you lose the screens for 2 seconds, that could be just the power supply reconfiguring, a bit like a generator coming online if you lose power to your house. So that is not unusual. If it's 45 seconds of no displays, that's critical. Now, well, you can't see the displays, but the flight control computers should have their own independent power supplies, and they should be communicating in the backbone so you could swap control to any computer, and it's got all the information to safely fly the airplane. Even if they had a power failure, they should have had enough power supplies to keep the airplane flying smoothly. And so to have this aircraft abruptly maybe resume a flight path if it was diverging when there was no power, this is all really peculiar stuff. And so this would not be a design that an aircraft should ever do this. So if it is the power failure or hydraulics failure or a flight controls failure, we have to find out what's wrong and how to fix it.
So you believe it's a problem with the aircraft rather than the pilot error? It's
possible the pilots jerked the controls, but unlikely. So we're just looking at probability and the risk, and at this stage it sort of suggests that maybe something happened in the aircraft electrically or hydraulically. And you see, there's a saying that the media or the airline should always tell the media what they want to know, and when things go wrong, when there's a crisis, tell them everything. And so LATAM is a good airline. I just did 15 sectors with them in South America 2 months ago. It's a great airline, very good service, but this is a crisis for them, and they need to get out there and talk to the media and tell people what's going on, because there's a lot of double guessing going on, and it serves no purpose to assume or presume.
It's a crisis for Boeing as well, though, isn't it?
Well, that's the problem. It may be Boeing's problem, it may not be. So there's only damage being done with fear, doubt and uncertainty. And we need to know, we should be able to get the facts off that flight data recorder really quickly.
That's the black box,
The black box, they'll get that. And so we need to find that out to stop all these innuendos. And Boeing's having enough problems with people questioning the 787.